welcome to The Hot Seat. I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and we are here at the Social Media Shows Network studio. It's been a little while since I have been here in studio filming a new episode for you guys, but just a reminder, we are live in real time. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to bring in some new guests for you. I know that a lot of people have been wondering what happened to the show. Don't worry, I just been out of town, but we are always going to come here and make sure that we are ready to give you the best episode every single week with brand new people, brand new stories, brand new journeys to inspire you for whatever that you do. So when you come back, when you're going to grab your little lunch, you're going to grab your little drinks, and then you're going to come back and you're going to meet some amazing people. There's going to be some different vibes in here. I know we've had a lot of actors, we had a lot of singers recently, but we're going to switch it up. We have two new people I have never met before, and so I'm really excited to have them sit here on the hot seat and talk about what they do and what makes them special and unique and why they love the city of Las Vegas. So when we come back from the break, I will see you then, and we're going to jump right into our first guest. So be ready.
Are you looking to record or film your podcast? We have the sound room and all necessary equipment you need. Contact us for pricing and to schedule your tour.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the hot seat. We are live here in real time at the Social Media Show studio, and as promised, we're going to jump right into our first guest. Now, our first guest is going to be a lot different from the others. Not only is he a magician and a comedian, but he doesn't only perform in the shows that you are going to automatically assume. He's so wide range in everything that he does and has literally his foot in the door in every single industry while doing his craft at every single gig that he gets. So everyone, please welcome 9-Digit Dave Johnson. Dave, thank you for coming.
For having me. Thank you.
I've been looking forward to this interview. And
You've been looking forward to it. Oh my gosh. It's exciting.
Thank you. So first and foremost, let's go over it. Since I introduced you by your stage name, 9-Digit Dave, right?
Sure.
There's a story behind this.
There is.
And it is probably not and what anyone else is probably going to think, right? It's got to do with a little injury that he has or an infection. So he did get an injury on one of your fingers.
Yeah,
this is on your right hand,
my
right?
right hand, my
the
middle
right hand.
finger, right here, and that's it's a convenient one to have, cut off part of. And so do you want the real story or the lie?
Let's tell the two, the one truth and the one lie,
Okay.
and let's see if I can guess which one that it is.
Oh, you'll get
See
it
if
right
the
off the
audience-
bat.
Oh.
You'll get it right off the bat. It's not even close. So one story is that I've been here in Las Vegas for 20 years, and I've gotten caught cheating at all the casinos, every single one, thrown out of every single one. With me being a complete derelict, I have to go and start gambling at people's house games, back rooms. There, if they catch you cheating, sometimes they're not so nice. Sometimes they'll grab a knife and try and stab at your hand as you're collecting the winnings. True story. If your name is Dave and you don't get out of the way in time, you can become a 9-Digit Dave. My downstairs neighbor Derek is now 9-Digit Derek. We don't talk anymore. It's kind of a sore subject.
Okay.
So that's story number one. Story number two is my wife owns a balloon decor company called Vegas Balloon. And so I wanted to go ahead and make her an open air photo booth that people can use to take their photos in front of her balloon backgrounds and garlands and decor. And so I said, let's go ahead and make one out of this reclaimed desk that I found on Craigslist. 'Craigslist for free. And so I was using a 3D printer. 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 It's it's just a really, really sharp electrical tool. And what happened was, it was kind of like a lathe, but I was running through a piece of 2x4. It kicked out, my finger went down into the blade, and this is what happened.
I see.
Yeah, so which one's the true story?
I'm going to guess the second one.
Yeah, you're right.
I did set construction when I studied theater in
Okay.
college, so I know exactly if you don't, keep your hand all over here, you're going to be, it goes zip,
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then that unfortunately happened during the year of COVID, right? So.
Yeah, March 6, 2020.
Yes.
I was super stoked. I was so excited. I thought, okay, this is my hook. No pun intended. I'm going to get onto AGT, get onto Penn Hiller's
Right.
Fool Us. They're going to get the ratings. I've got the story, the background. That's all
Yeah.
they want. And then the whole world shut down. But I had 3 close-up shows that week that I had to do with my finger.
And
cut
you
off.
did it.
Did all.
And you did
yeah.
it. So we're going to backtrack a little bit because I want to come back to that because it's just obviously amazing. But you have been doing this for, I'm going to say, 37 years, right, since your first show.
Yeah,
around
I guess
there.
so. Yeah, I was 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
so
have done
you're
your research.
I did.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so you've been
Yeah.
doing this long, and so now you told me that you started at the age of 5,
Yeah.
correct? So what was the mindset of Dave Johnson at age 5 that really started to be like, I want to perform, I want to do magic?
So I grew up in Central California, in Modesto, and so we were very close. We're the closest, I guess, to Reno, Nevada. And so my parents would go up to Circus all the time and take my half sister and myself, and they would go play in the casino. We'd go to what's called the Midway. We have it here in Vegas also. And there were these clowns that worked there, and so the clowns did magic tricks. And so I saw my first magic trick there. A clown took a sponge nose, put it in my hand, one in his hand, and his disappeared and reappeared in my hand. And that I was 4 then, and so that hooked me pretty well.
Mm-hmm. And so you probably decided right then and there that you love performing, you want to
I
explore
just
more
wanted to
and
know how
things
it
like
worked.
that.
Yeah.
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 And you have moved to Vegas. You've been here, like you said, you've been here like around 20 years
20
at this
years,
point.
yeah.
And what was it about Vegas? I mean, apart from the obvious, it's entertainment capital of the world, right? You got live entertainment. It's like people seek live entertainment. Was that the reason, or
That was
something
it.
more
At
behind
that
it?
point in
It
time.
was that point
Yeah,
in time.
that was it.
Okay.
I wanted to come here to learn to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it. But it's become so much more since then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
And how do you think that you've grown with how Vegas has grown? Have you been able to acclimate to the time change, how things have adapted in regards to what people want to see, right? What's available on the strip or around, and then also the development of more magicians and more comedians and having it be so saturated, right? There's a lot of options.
It's very saturated. There's 500
right?
magicians in town.
Mm-hmm.
There's only about probably a dozen or two that do what I do as far as going after the corporate clients.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice. But yeah, as far as way things changed, it's a lot of building. There's always more opportunity, and it's been good for the business. I've had other jobs. I worked at the Rio from 2004 to 2009. Worked in the Players Club. I've had jobs where I drove for Uber or Lyft.
Mm-hmm.
I had a job where I was a substitute teacher for about 3 years. But it was all the gig jobs where I can make my own schedule
Yeah.
and still be able to take the gigs that I wanted to take.
Mhm.
So
And were you able to do that by yourself? Like you came in with like a hustler mindset and you were able to market yourself and do this as like a one-man band? Or did you have prior knowledge of going through the typical industry, you know, you get agents or get managers? I'm not too familiar with magic and comedy, but I'm assuming with live performances, there's people that do gig events that will contact you, etc.
yeah, so you got to get to know all the DMCs, the destination management companies, the event planners, the entertainment agencies, things like that. Those are very important people to get in with and to cultivate your relationships with, obviously. As far as when I first got here, I started off as the opening act for a hypnotist here in town, and a guy named Michael Johns, and we were over in this curtained off corner over on Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard. It's a little small casino called Bourbon Street. And so, and that was fun. We were, working, I think it was 3 or 4 nights a week for about 8 months. And then I got to work with a guy named Gallagher for a while. And then from then, I, basically in 2014, I moved on to mainly doing corporate events. And that's where things really kind of picked up and took off.
So I mentioned a little bit before when we were waiting to start the live show that he's probably the first magician that I've met that actually has talked about doing corporate events and doing things like that. That's open about it, at least in my experience. You know, everybody, and I will be honest, everyone wants to, have their own residencies.
Sure.
Everyone does, things. They want to say that they perform in this grandiose theater. But you've been very genuine and upfront about what all the different gigs that you do. So how do you feel that corporate would differentiate from sort of just saying, oh, I want a residency, because you seem very proud in doing all live events and corporate events, correct?
Sure. Yeah. As far as the way it differentiates, the guys that are on the strip and off the strip, they've got a show they do either once a week or 5 days a week or whatever it is, and 7 days a week in the case of Jerry McCambridge. And they're going to work every day, and they're grinding it out, and they're amazing magicians and entertainers. They're fantastic. The corporate world is basically different groups coming to town, organizations and things like that, and they need some entertainment. Last night I did a show over at the Palms that was, I think, 2 or 2.5 hours of walk around magic over at the Ghost Bar, and it's a client that I've had for the last 7 years. So it's they've taken me all around the United States, and it's a lot of fun.
Do you think it's more challenging though, in order to depending on what event is coming, and you got to go around, you got to meet people, and or do you think it's a good challenge for you to continue to learn and grow in that way?
I'm a people person. I like talking to people, so it's nice. There's a lot of shows that there's that what's called quote unquote the fourth wall, where you don't want to cross the fourth wall, and but I like that. I like getting into the audience. I like roaming around. A lot of what I do is strolling magic, close-up magic. So
you also are a comedian, on top of being a magician, and you, as far as I'm concerned, seeing some of your work, it's just you on the stage, or you presenting your magic to the people. And so what would you say differentiates you from everyone else that would say, oh, I also do comedy, I also do magic, I also have a show, and I do all the same things he does? But why do you think you're successful?
I think it all comes down to the personality of the person. There's a lot of comic magicians here in Las Vegas. There's Mike Hammer over at the Four Queens. There's Adam London, who's a very dear friend, over at the Orleans. There's the Late Night Magic Show, also at the Orleans as well. Everyone's got their own different personality. There's a lot of the routines are really going to be the same routines or the same tricks when everything's, all the paint's taken off. But it's the paint that you put on top of it that makes it seem different. I think that's really what's most important.
And so you also mentioned that you have a lot of support from your family, and when you started to chase this endeavor, which a lot of people don't, unfortunately, have when someone wants to say, hey, Mom, Dad, when they're like really young, I want to be a comedian, I want to perform, I want to do magic, like this magic chick, right? But thankfully for you, like they were really supportive. And how do you think that has shaped your career? Do you think it gave you more confidence in order to push harder, or?
So it's a great question. I came from half of my family was all entertainers.
Okay.
So my uncle played in a band in Modesto called the Rats, and they got to open up for the Rolling Stones back in '65. And my mom has been a singer in a group called Sweet Adelines for over 50 years, and she's a choreographer for this big women's chorus of like 90 women. Has helped out a lot. That my father's side, they were all businessmen and women. My grandfather went to Princeton. My grandmother went to Mount Holyoke, one of the Seven Sisters colleges. My dad went to Lewis and Clark. My dad became an attorney, and they had wanted me to go to a nice college, and I wasn't really in favor of that myself. I wanted to go out and start working, and so I took a couple of years, and I went to Sacramento State, and then a couple more years at the local community college there, and then I went to school out here in Nevada for a while. So I'm a culmination of everything put together, I believe. So
yeah, that shapes it. Business and entertainment is you have to know both.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an independent, which you are.
Yeah. My wife does help out with the show. There's a show called Pink Time Magic we do together. It's called Pink Time Magic, Cynical and Senseless Sorcery. All I can say is I'm the cynical one. And but that's another comedy magic show we do in case they want a two-person act.
Yeah, and you actually taught your wife a little bit because she wasn't in part.
Wow, you have done so much research. Yeah, so I taught her a little bit. I helped her out with getting her business off the ground, Vegas Balloon. But as far you're talking about the magic, teaching her some magic. Oh my gosh, you dig deep. So right before we got married, we got married in 2016, and so there was a organization that called up and they said they wanted a trade show magician. And I said, here's my rates. And they said, well, we can't really afford that. And I said, well, I'll do it for the rate you can afford. But if I get another call for the same slot of time that they're willing to pay me rates, I'll reserve the right to go and substitute in somebody else. And they said, okay, that's fine. And so sure enough, actually the organizer of the convention called me up and said, we'll pay your rate. So I still had to find another magician to fill in this other spot. We were getting married, I think, a month later. And we had no money at all. And so they said, well, we just want someone who does card tricks. That was the ones that had the first phone call. And so my wife said, well, I could learn some card tricks, some self-working card tricks that take no sleight of hand. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I talked to my mom about it, and Mom's like, yeah, send in Ronnie. She can do it. She's, a delight to be around. And I said, okay. So I taught her, I think I taught her 9 self-working card tricks, ones that were really easy for her to do. And then we brought in a bunch of people to watch the card tricks and to rate which ones were their favorites and which ones they didn't like. And we fed them spaghetti dinner and everything. So and then she ended up working one of the booths, and I worked at the other booth, and we had all this, the money we got from that for our wedding. So
That's amazing. It's meant to be like that. Now you guys can perform together.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah.
it's built her confidence up in order to do that alongside you, of
Sure.
course, and also be supportive at the same time.
Sure.
Now you are also a master actually at sleight of hand, correct? And that's something that you also had to reteach yourself after the injury. We're going to go back to the
Yeah.
injury. First and foremost, I had a thought. Like,
Sure.
did you have a stage name before this had happened?
I did, apparently.
Okay.
It was my first and my middle name, David William, is what I went by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You-
Because this all happened in 2020, so I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you've been doing this way longer than that. So.
Yeah, so I said
Yeah.
I was David William, my first and middle name, and then everyone's like, who's David William? Just stick with David Johnson. So I became Dave Johnson, and now it's 9-digit Dave. So
And so I want you to tell the audience a little bit. So you mentioned that you had some shows and you didn't want to break those contracts even though you got injured. So you're like, I gotta reteach myself real quick. So how was that process for you? Was it frustrating? Were you like motivated and you?
There was very little that I had to reteach myself. I just had to make sure that I could still do the things that I was doing. One of the routines that I do that I travel all around to do is I make the company's name appear on the side of a deck of cards. And I do that by shuffling the cards very meticulously together, and it's a shuffle without any flaws. We'll say it's a perfect shuffle. I've been told that only about 5% of the magicians can do this and do it without fail every single time, and I guess I'm one of them. But I've done the routine probably around 20,000 times because I used to do it at restaurants as well. And so I cut off part of my finger, went to the first hospital in Henderson, which does not have a trauma center. So they said, go back and get what you can to see if they can reattach it. And when I was there getting that, which a friend of mine, Chuck, was so nice to come over and gather all the pieces together, I also grabbed a deck of cards to make sure I could still do this perfect shuffle because I had 3 different gigs later on that week that I had to go ahead and put the names on the side of the cards. My wife ended up writing the names, but I was still able to go and do that. We were driving to the second hospital, and I've got a video of myself making sure I could still do this shuffle.
Wow.
It was this finger, and this thumb, because this finger was cut open and this one was cut off part of it. So.
And obviously, you're also in pain at this time. So it's not just like, he's bandaged, he's in the healing process, like it's happening in the moment.
Yeah.
And that probably helped your healing too. Like your body's like the adrenaline's probably like, I gotta get it going. So it's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. So congratulations to you. And
Thanks.
I'm pretty sure now you're like, that's a special skill. Now I know I can teach myself something new, and whatever happens. So another thing I want to bring up. So you also have people coming to you to help them kind of be instructed on how to do magic. And you did mention prior to the show that they're not people you would think that are coming to you for those. So how did that start, and what are you learning is the most common thing that they're asking to learn?
They want to learn how to do card tricks.
Okay.
It makes sense. Out of all the different subjects in the world, all the books that are written in the world, there's more books written about magic than any other subject there is. And a majority of those are about card tricks. So it makes sense. They want to learn card tricks. They want to learn sleights, how to make a fan, how to do a one-handed cup, different flourishes, as we call them, things like that. And a lot of them end up being dancers that are looking to go ahead and get into different forms of entertainment. And so what's nice about them being dancers is that the dancers are so self-driven and so motivated and dedicated to what they do that they learn very, very fast. You can teach them one thing, and then the next week they'll come back and say, got it. You're like, wow, I wish I had that kind of drive back when I was younger. But I think jugglers also have the same kind of drive, because if you drop as a juggler, you look horrible. If you flub up a trick, as long as you're funny, you'll still fly. It'll be okay.
Now, is there one tip that you always tell performers, and from your point of view, that you feel is most important? And what would that be?
Do you want like a pro tip? Is that what is this?
The 9-digit tip.
The 9-digit tip. It's something I would tell their performers, like ones that are starting out.
Whichever, something that you
Sure.
feel like if anyone were to ask you, I really want to, either they're starting or they're just like, I want to be better, I've been performing, what is one thing that you say is most important that's going to get them that star quality that you look for when you watch someone perform?
Star quality. I would say try and be original as much as you can. Before I said there's not a lot of original routines. That is true. There are still some very, very creative people out there, and there's a lot of them that live in this town. Kevin James, amazing. A good friend of mine, Bizarro, absolutely amazing. These guys come up with all of their own stuff, and they're just the top notch there is. So try and be original. Try and stop using so many hack lines. Hack lines are the ones that you hear every magician use, and stop doing the same tricks everyone else is doing. If I were to recommend a book, it's actually a book that's not on magic. It's called Stage Performance by Livingston Taylor, who is James Taylor's brother. And it's written for musicians. It's from the Berklee School of Music. But that's probably the best book I've ever read. And that helped me out a ton. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it's helped you, especially coming to a place like Las Vegas,
Yeah.
right? You're going to need that and match up to what's already been here.
There's a lot of good talent here.
Yeah, and I'm sure before too, and then kind of keep the spirit of Las Vegas alive.
Sure.
So apart from corporate, you also get the chance to travel all over the country. You know, you just were in Chicago. You know, you go to Southern California. You go to Ohio. You go here, there, everywhere. But then you also are able to go to a lot of big events. So it's not just corporate. We're talking about like the convention rooms. Like we're talking like you were at the Super Bowl, right? You're able to do things live in real time. I'm sure you do a bunch of other high quality things. You do some red carpet stuff. So what is that like? And how would you say, what do you think has gotten you there? I know we talked about what makes you stand out, but what do you think really has gotten you to be in the presence of people that you probably have looked up to or that you know or people know of, right?
Yeah, I'm not in that presence yet. I'm still on my way. But I think as far as what makes it happen is just not giving up. You know, it's a long road. It's a real long road. But if you quit, you're never going to get there. And that's the main thing to remember is that it gets really, really tough sometimes. But if you stop, you'll never make it. And so, but also, I also believe that success, a lot of people say, oh, success is based off of fame or fortune. I don't buy any of that. I don't believe in that. I believe success is based on how many stories you have when you get done with your life. Because your name is going to go away, no matter what. Even Houdini's name, it's going to die out one of these days. It's going to take a while because he did a great job with PR. But and also the money's not going to be there for much longer. And so, but if you have a lot of stories, you've got your memories, hopefully, and that's going to be the best thing you can really get out of it. So, what do I attribute to that? The ability to go and do some gigs that maybe aren't the most fame and fortune, but have the best stories. Like back when I was 21, I got flown in and out by helicopter to go ahead and do this gig up in the mountains. And they're like, yeah, do you want to come out and do this thing? You know, it pays X amount. And I was thinking like, well, it's a whole entire weekend. It's not that much money. You said I get flown by a helicopter? Sure, I'll do that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So how many people could say they did that, right?
I know.
That's awesome. Like, I'm sure you were like, wait, you want to do what? All right. I mean, I guess. Let's do it. Let's do it, right?
So, yeah.
Yeah. You're a risk taker. You're spontaneous, too. I'm pretty sure you have a little spontaneity.
I like to say yes.
Yeah. That's awesome and everything. But one of the bigger things is, do you see yourself staying in Las Vegas? Do you think that this city is going to be as big as everyone's saying it is, and do you want to ride that out, or do you want to stay here because you just love Las Vegas?
I think Las Vegas. How long have you been here for?
Almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years
okay.
next month. Yeah.
I think Las Vegas is probably the greatest city on. And I fall in love with every city I go to be honest. But this city has come together so much as a family ever since the October 1st shooting. That was a horrible, horrible tragedy. But there was this element of beauty that came out of it with everybody looking out for each other. And it just becoming this great big family of 3 million people. Yeah. And everybody, my wife and I were driving to Costco to pick up waters to go drop them off at the convention center. And I remember in front of us there was another truck that had a whole bunch of waters, and it was getting off on the Galleria from Costco, and some of the waters fell out, and everybody jumped out of their cars, or put in park, jumped out of their cars just to help them load the waters back in. I'm not going to move from this city. My heart's always going to be here. I love traveling as much as I love an audience, but I'll always live in Las Vegas. This is a great place.
Yeah. And it really is, but especially if you get to go out and experience things and then come back and understand why you love the place you live, right? I feel like you probably have something that's pulling you back there, right? And I feel like you probably have felt that, and that kind of tells you, oh yeah, that's the place where I need to be, at least reside.
You probably get this from Chicago a little bit, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So that's a great city.
It is, and also depending on what you do, though, you know, everyone goes where they need to be in order to their life's work or whatever their goals are in life. But-
Chicago is where restaurant magic started out, I found out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, restaurant and
Okay.
bar magic all
Oh,
started
I
in the
can
city
see
of
it.
Chicago.
I can see it. I
And
can
there's a
definitely
bunch
see it.
of restaurants that are built around having magicians there.
Yeah.
O'Donovan's,
Uh-huh.
Schulian's, which became O'Donovan's. There's a bunch of places out there. And
Yeah.
it's very interesting because for a long time, that's what I did for a living was restaurant magic here in Vegas. And I had no clue that was all attributed to Chicago.
And then you go there all the time.
I got to
you know?
I got to go there and work the Chicago Magic Lounge. It was actually my first time there, and it was amazing. We went by Illuminati's Pizza, the original
Oh,
one.
yeah,
It was
the
made in
original
'71,
one.
and there was a lady there that was working since '71. I think her name's Debbie, and she's like,
Wow.
"Yep, I knew Lou." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is
Isn't that
amazing."
crazy? Yeah. So, is there a magician that you really look up to, and why?
I like Matt King
Okay.
a lot. If you say who's a successful magician, a lot of entertainers don't get to spend a lot of time with their families.
Okay.
Mac is able to go and do a show during the afternoon and is able to go home and spend time with his family every single day before the normal day is up, and it's fantastic. He's able to basically like have a day job where he performs. I think that's pretty amazing, and he's incredibly funny. I sat in the audience one time with writing down how many laughs he got during the whole entire show.
Wow,
I told him about it
okay.
afterwards. It was like 378 laughs over the course of 70 minutes. That's a
That's
lot.
amazing.
He's a
Yeah.
very, very funny guy. And he's such a nice guy, and he's such a great magician also. He's probably my favorite, I would say.
Well, that's great. I feel like there's similarities. I feel like that you probably can see in yourself and him. You know, being very active with the audience, making them laugh. I've seen a lot
hope
of
so.
people
I mean,
leaving
maybe-
reviews on his LinkedIn. There's tons. Unique, amazing entertainer. Made us laugh. Made us smile. You know. But I do want to ask though: is this your goal? Where you're at right now? Do you feel like I did it? I made it? Or, and if not, what is that? When will that moment be, and what do you think that you would be doing when you say that I made it?
It happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. Doing the job for the Super Bowl, that was a great phone call to get. They
Yeah.
called up, and it was kind of like when they said we're going to fly a helicopter back and forth. I was kind of like, yeah, I'll do it. I don't even need to negotiate this. Just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll be there. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Sure. So that's, you have moments where you feel like you've made it. As far as feeling that I've made it, I believe that, so my wife and I, we don't have any kids, but if we ended up having a kid, I think that a success in that situation is just being able to go ahead and live the life that everybody else lives by being able to raise a family, but to do it on my own terms, and that's by doing magic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would be making it for me, I think.
Okay, amazing. And then one final question
Okay.
that I did want to ask. I know that you've done some research on me, so maybe you know what the question is. Is there a philosophy that you live by?
Wow. I didn't do that much research on you. Philosophy that I live by. Yeah, I would think that philosophy is every moment is another chance. It's a movie quote I pulled off of 8 Mile with Eminem, and I had it tattooed on myself, and it's kind of my mantra.
Yeah, and you know what I love? I'm going to tell you why I asked that question is because at the end of the episode, you know, everyone warms up. They're starting to be themselves. They're starting to answer genuinely because they never know what the questions are. And then that one answer, either it's a sentence or a couple words, always sums up everything that we just heard.
That's interesting. That makes
And
sense
it
too.
is, though. Like what
Yeah.
you just said, and then how you also live your life and why you choose the jobs you do. Like, everything is new for you. You always want to say yes, right? So that's going to be something new for you, and everything is going to be a new story, a new opportunity, a new chance to learn, which I feel like is very important to you and how you go about your everyday life, whether it's work or performing or family, you know, stuff like that.
What's your philosophy? Because I didn't read it. I'm sorry. What is yours?
I never wrote my philosophy.
Okay, well,
Oh
you
no,
are right
I'm
now.
being
What is it?
interviewed.
What is it? Welcome to the hot seat.
Oh my god. Now I know what people feel like. Oh, Maria, I'm starting to sweat. Stop. I would say that my philosophy, and it's going to be so freaking cliche, but it's going to be push until you feel like you're going to break, and then when you break, that's when it's going to happen for you. But you have to get through all those things first.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And it's true. It all mirrors what kind of life that you've lived, right? And for me, you know, I've noticed when things are at the lowest point is when you have a choice. You either decide that, you know, it's a sign to give up because why all this stuff, why happened to me? Why me? Why me? Like, why is this as hard as, no, it's hard, but why is it this hard? Or you can look at it and say, well, it's because I'm meant for more, right? It's because I'm going through this because this energy, whatever is happening all the time, is just showing me that, like, this is who you are and this is what you're made for. So you have a choice, whether to just, sulk and just be like, okay, this always happens to me, I'm made for something lower, or is it because you're made for higher, and then it's trying to get rid of everything that you continue to allow, whether it's certain jobs, certain people in your life, things like that. So that's how,
I like it.
Thank you. So I'm going to leave it to you. Do you have anything quick that you want to showcase to us in the studio and the audience in
Sure.
regards to your sleight of hand with 9 digits?
What did I say before we started? I said, you said, "Oh, do you have anything you could show us?" And I
Yeah,
said,
you said it was up to you, and I said, well,
what
I'm
did I
going
say? I
to
said, be careful what you wish for. All right, so yes, this is known as the world's most annoying coin trick. It's not the best coin trick you'll ever see. This might actually be the worst coin trick you'll ever see. Mm-hmm. It's based upon a story you might have heard before. If you have, feel free to play along. Answer as many of the questions as you can. That'll help speed things through. Mm-hmm. Do not try and stall or stop me, though, as that'll just prolong the antagonization, and nobody needs that. I use big words like prolong and antagonization to prolong the antagonization. Here we go. It's called Pete and Repeat. Here we go. Pete and Repeat. Pete and Repeat are walking down the street. A couple of coins. Pete's always on top. Pete fell in a hole. Who was left? Repeat. Good answer. Thank you. Here we go. Pete and Repeat are walking down the street. A couple of coins. Pete's always on top. Pete fell in a hole. Who was left?
Repeat.
Yeah, very good. Pete and Repeat are walking down the street. A couple of coins. World's most annoying coin trick. Pete fell in a hole. Who was left?
Repeat.
Very good. Pete and Repeat are walking down the street. A couple of coins. Pete's always on top. Let's see. Pete fell in a hole. Who was left?
Repeat.
No, we're done. I'm sorry.
He's done repeating.
It had to finish sometime. It used to be 6 more phases.
Oh,
and then
goodness.
we focus grouped it. Everyone said, please stop now.
We're done with repeating.
We're done.
Pete's done with the repeat. Repeat's
Yes.
done repeating. Well, everyone, 9-digit Dave, and I'm glad you all know the reason why 9-digit Dave. You can't forget it now because there's a story behind it, but thank you so
The
much.
joiner planer was the tool that got me.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you found some funny ways to use that digit because it's the perfect finger to just come up with some funny things.
I don't understand what
isn't
you're
it?
saying. Yeah, oh, yeah.
But we're trying to keep it a little bit, but all the middle finger, right? I'm sure.
All depends
it's
how much
great
I'm
things.
angry. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and people be like, wait, what am I seeing? You're like, ha. I'm sure you've done some really funny things with that. But thank you so much. I hope you had a great time here. It's your first
Wonderful.
time on the hot seat. I'd love to have you back.
Love to be
Spill
here.
some more of your truth and your knowledge and your wisdom with us. I think that
Thank you.
this has been one of the most endearing conversations and wise conversations that I've had in some time because, very insightful person. Everyone, give a round of applause for 9-digit Dave. He's got Instagram. He's got his website if you want to name your handle and also your website and where they can find
9-digit Dave, all spelled out. NINEDIGIT Instagram, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a link tree. He's got all his links
Yeah.
on there, including his EPK if you're looking
Oh,
for comedy.
yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of comedians are always
Yeah.
talking about their EPK, and I was like, there it is, right there. But amazing job, thank you so much. And is there anything that the public can see you doing upcoming? I know you've got a lot of upcoming corporate shows, but
Yeah.
anything people can come to see your tickets?
I'm going to be at the Downtown Comedy Lounge
Okay.
on April 19th and 20th.
Okay.
That's at Neonopolis.
Okay.
Downtown, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Neonopolis, downtown. Downtown's a bustling place. If you guys want to go see some live comedy, live performances, 9-digit Dave's your guy. You can't miss him. Just
It'll
look
be
at the
fun.
fingers, look at the hands. Thank you so much. And when we come back, we're going to go to our next guest. So be excited for her because she's going to be fabulous.
Hi, I'm Deacon T with Modern Word Ministries. It's great to be with you today. Just a short little promo for our show. Every Sunday morning we have service, and you can follow us at 10 a.m. Pacific Time on modernwordministries.org. And if you missed us or you want to see some of our older messages, go ahead and check us out on socialmediashows.com every single morning at 9 a.m. It's a great way to kick off your day, get a little bit of the word in you, get something uplifting, get you started off on your way. If you're looking for prayer or you need some help, reach out to us. If you go to our website, again, that's modernwordministries.org, you can interact with me via telephone, via DM, text message, whatever you want.
Now on Digital and DD.
Did it?
Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star is an epic sci-fi adventure.
Do what needs to be done.
An edge-of-your-seat wild ride.
We have company.
Tons of popcorn-munching fun. 5 stars. A love letter to the sci-fi films of the 70s and 80s. With plenty of action and fun for all. You need to see it. You really do.
The captain just decided it's time to go.
I am ready for a sequel. Experience a bold new adventure. Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star.
A good old-fashioned adventure.
Now on digital and...
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Hot Seat. I hope you loved our amazing interview with our magician, Nine Digit Dave. I think that was a great interview, and I really hope that you listened to every word he said. He's someone that loves Las Vegas, loves what he does, and feels like he's really doing exactly what he's always set out to be. So we're going to jump into our next guest. Now, this is a fashion queen, okay? She has her own boutique called Sassy Boutique by MK. She actually is originally from Uganda, and she is here to talk about herself, what she does, what motivates what she does, and all the other little things that she also has a talent for. And I cannot wait to hear her story and what brought her here to Las Vegas and Social Media Show Studio. So everyone, please welcome Martha Quezada. Hello, beautiful.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being
Hi.
here.
Thanks for
Absolutely
having me.
amazing. Please take a
Thank
seat.
you.
Everyone, please look at her outfit. I want to make sure the camera catches. She's sparkled head to toe. Beautiful makeup, beautiful poise. And you did mention this actually is your boutique. You're wearing everything from your boutique right here on yourself, right?
Everything from head to toe. My shoes, my rings, my jewelry, my dress.
Absolutely
Sassy Boutique by
amazing.
MK.
So thank you so much for coming here and bringing your radiant energy in here.
Oh, thank you.
So is this your first time at the Social Media Show Studio?
Yes.
It is. Well, thank you, and I'm glad that you chose the show to be on. Is my favorite show. But but anyway, you're originally from Uganda, correct? And you had come to the States when you were in your 20s.
Yes, I did.
correct. And you were a resident in Minnesota for some time, right?
I resided in Minnesota for 29 years. I've been in Vegas the last 8.5. So Minnesota is kind of home.
Yeah. And do you love Vegas? Do you feel like this is the place that you love being at and want to stay in?
You know, it took me a while to love Vegas. When I first came, I was so lost. But with time, I started going out, networking, meeting friends, and seeing what Vegas has to offer. And right now, I'm loving it.
Oh, well, amazing. But you also, since we're talking about the city and everything, but you travel a lot as well, because I don't know if you still are, but are you a flight attendant still?
Yes, I've been a flight attendant for 19 years. I'm called a fly girl. I love flying.
Oh, okay.
So that's my life.
Uh-huh.
I'm in a different state, different country, different city, every day.
And I'm sure you get to see so many new things and just kind of be inspired by every city that you go to. Right?
I do. I love it.
So we're going to jump back. So you originally from Uganda, and you kind of grew up there and all that stuff, and fashion's been your life, right? You always were kind of known for being unique, and everyone kind of, seeing how, oh my gosh, like what she's wearing today.
Yeah.
So where does that love come from? How did that start for you?
You know, like you said, since growing up, I always loved fashion. I love to look different, and I always just wanted to be fabulous. And secondly, I wanted to show women and girls that you can still dress classy, sophisticated, and look natural and still be fabulous. So growing up, that was my inspiration. So love to dress up. I don't wear a lot of makeup. Hair's natural.
Yeah. And
I just love to
beautiful.
be just a natural girl and,
Yeah.
dress fabulously.
And where have you gotten all that confidence from? Because I know, especially when you're younger, some girls go through stages of finding what their style is, right? And, oh no, I don't know if I can, So where did that come for you? And was it young?
I wouldn't say, not when I was very young. So I think when I was in my teens, I started I started finding myself different from what other girls were. You know, when I grew up in my family, I never had hair. My mom used to cut our hair every school year, so my head was bald all the time. And I would see the other girls with hair, looking great, dressed up, and I felt like that was more girl kind of look and classy. But then I would look in the mirror and I'll tell myself, I have a bald head, but I think I'm beautiful. So I'm just gonna rock what I have. So I just started, you know, embracing what I had, and my clothing, I started wearing like long dresses. I wasn't a fan of like short dresses because long dresses just made me feel like I'm a goddess.
Yeah. As it should.
So-
As it should. Like you're always going to the red carpet. You gotta be ready for it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I've never been to Uganda. I don't know as much about the culture as, obviously, I know of other ones. But for you, do you think that the culture and society out there has shaped your fashion sense? And how do you feel that you had to acclimate in being yourself and being very, very, you know, drawing a lot of attention, you know, you're wearing gowns? Do you think that it kind of shakes the culture there, or do you think it has an impact in any way?
Well, maybe it may have a little bit of impact because, you know, the way people dress here a little bit is different from how
Right.
people dress way in Uganda. Some things are not allowed. The time that I grew up there, you couldn't wear shorts. Shorts were not allowed. Even like pants. Pants were for men. And you can't show your skin. You can't even like cross your legs when you sit down. You have to sit like, you know. So the culture is different. So it might have shaped how I feel about dressing. But to me, this is my own making. None of my family dresses like me. It's just my own making. I just decided to stand out. And like I said, I wanted to look classy, I wanted to look sophisticated, and at the same time fabulous. And I chose my own way of presenting myself
Yeah.
like that.
And it's
So.
amazing, and I'm sure it's an inspiration to so many women who might not have the courage to feel like they can walk out of the house in a gown and feel like it's kind of insecure, you know, like, oh, am I too overdressed and nothing? So I'm glad that you have that and you brought that energy through the door. So fabulous. So you moved to the States, you know, in your 20s, but I know that there were other options. You know, I know a lot of your family members were moving out of Uganda. I know London was one of them, right? Minnesota
Yeah,
was.
we are all over the place. I have family. I have half of my siblings in London. Then I had half of my siblings in Switzerland, and then we're all over the place. So Minnesota, where my brother and sister were here, so I stopped in to London. I hang out there for a minute, and I'm just gonna continue on to the U.S. So that's how I ended up.
Do you still miss Minnesota? Or
I miss Minnesota because it's like home, but I don't miss the snow and the cold.
Right,
Yesterday it was
right.
snowing and it's just like cold, and
yeah.
but it will always be home.
Yes, I'm from the Midwest too, so I know that the wind, the chill, the winters,
Yeah.
it's brutal, right?
Brutal.
So you are all about self-love, and you're even a self-love coach as well.
Yes.
Was coaching something that you always saw yourself doing, or did that come naturally because of your amazing confidence?
I would say, you know what? Sometimes we are our own worst critics. So we criticize ourselves. Sometimes you can be there and look at other people and you envy maybe other people. Maybe you think other people are better than you. And the reason is because you haven't found yourself. You don't love yourself. Because if you took some time to look into yourself and give yourself that love that you always give other people, you'll realize that you don't need to envy or want to be like anybody else. So I think growing up, yeah, you know, maybe I had a little insecurities, you know, I thought, oh, I'm not good enough, or I have to do things for people to be loved. And I was taken advantage of in that kind of, that kind of way, because, they're like, oh, she's really nice. She can just do anything she wants to do. But I was doing those things because I did not love me
Yeah.
that much. So once I started digging into myself, and I was like, I think I'm good. I'm good enough to be, who I am. I started going through self-love books, self-love courses, and I started studying about self-love. And through the studies, I managed to completely embrace myself, love myself, and be who I am without feeling, feeling that, I don't know what I want to say, feeling that it's me, it's about me, and it's not selfish sometimes to think about yourself and do things for you and say no to other people. So
like, it's okay to be yourself, unapologetically.
Yes.
Right? Because I know a lot of people feel like, oh no, like people might think that I'm too, cocky, pretentious, I'm too into myself, and I think that's the fear that people have in wanting to be confident. But there is a difference, and when you find that difference, in which you did, you know how to hold yourself and not let anyone tell you differently. Because you know you, and you know what you want to do and what you stand for, and that's the only thing that matters. And so it is really true. It's cliche saying, love yourself before you can love someone else, but it's very, very real when you experience that moment when you go, now I understand, right?
That's true.
That is true. And so I know you have had experience in pageantry when you've come to Las Vegas, right? And you ended up winning. I think it's called Miss Ruby. Am I correct with that one? And it was something that you just happened to give a try, right? What was that experience like? Surrounded by beautiful women, but you're also being judged at the same time,
So how I ended up in a pageant, the year before I was very, very sick. I was sick. That's the year 2016 before getting into 2017. So I was sick. I had a condition, it's called neuropathy. I don't know if you've heard about neuropathy. You feel like someone is like digging into your feet or hands, nails, heart. So I was very, very miserable. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do so many things. I had to take time away from work. And in March of 2017, my mom passed away suddenly. So I felt guilty because my mom wasn't sick. She died, and I'm like, oh, I was sick, but I didn't die. So that got me into some kind of depression. And, of course, I'm here in Vegas by myself. My family's in different places, so I was just depressed. So I had my friends, they started coming and, getting me out of the house. And then one day I was out there, and one of my fabulous friends, Kim, and her late husband, they are the pageant directors for the Lady Vegas. And they asked me to be part of the pageant, and I said, okay, I'll try it. So the reason I did the pageant anyways, I just wanted to get out of my depression, get back into who I am, start dressing up, and I had started feeling well. So I just got into the pageant. I didn't go in the pageant to win. I just said, I'll go meet some women, make some good friends, and just enjoy the day and look fabulous like I hadn't looked fabulous in a while. And did the pageant, and I won.
And do you think that if you hadn't done that you would have been able to get out of whatever, mental state or aloneness that you did feel? Do you think that shaped you in a way, and it really was the point when you saw hope again?
I would say, it was one of the things, that might have got me out, but also, getting out and being around people that are happy, dressed up, and getting back to who I am, because I've always been happy, dressed up, dressed and looking all fabulous, but now I had all, got myself into my house, not getting out, doing anything fun. So
Right.
those
Right.
were the things that kind of like brought me back
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. And what would you say, if you don't mind me asking,
Yeah.
if someone currently is in these states, because I know there's always, you can always find similarities with other people's lives, and so if someone's listening like, oh, I connect with her in that way,
Yeah.
what would you say to them to give them some hope in how to maybe get out of whatever state they're in?
You know, we all have been at a stage where we are down in life, and surround yourself with people that are going to uplift you. Stay away from negativity. Read a book. Find a hobby. Maybe do yoga, Pilates, meditate, and also seek help sometimes, because sometimes not everyone can get out of a situation. So I always encourage seek help, but surround yourself with people that are going to lift your spirits. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say.
And so was Sassy Boutique made after this? Is this when you started getting your own fashion brand, or was it happening already and before?
You know, indeed, how Sassy Boutique like happened is like as we started talking, I always like to dress sassy, sophisticated, and classy, and I travel a lot. So when I travel, I would find these little boutiques with fabulous dresses that are unique, and I'll buy them, bring them out. I wear the dresses, and each time I would wear something, many people would stop me and ask where I got my dress. And I'll tell them, hey, I got this in maybe Italy, I got this maybe in Uganda, I got this maybe in India or Turkey, and most of them can't go to these places to get the dresses. So in 2018, that's when I really kind of like started putting things together. I'm like, you know, everyone likes what I'm wearing, they like it. I'm gonna start by, you know, doing little pop-up, like little vendor events and bring some clothes and see who wants to buy the dresses. So I would just be there at events, and people were buying my clothes. And always, you know, I would wear something, they want to take it off my body. They're like,
are you
"Can we
selling
take
that too? Can we have
Can we
it?
take that?" And I'm like, okay. So 2018, I started Sassy Boutique. So with Sassy Boutique, like I guess I say, it is elegant, sophisticated, and fabulous and classy. If you want to dress trashy, then you won't find anything in Sassy Boutique. And it's also empowering women to embrace who they are, how they look. So when I do fashion shows, all kinds of models, my models indeed are from ages like 25 to 75. I don't care what size you are, as long as you're confident, you want to be in a fashion show and look good, you're welcome. So that's how I started Sassy Boutique. So by the time I was sick, I wasn't into the sassy. I still dressed like the way I dress, but I hadn't gotten the Sassy Boutique out.
Okay, but then after that, everything kind of started to blossom for you.
Everything started
avenues.
blossom. Like I guess, you know, they started seeing people in my clothes. You know, my girls, when they wear the dresses, the one that buy dresses from me, they get many compliments also.
Yeah.
And they'll take pictures and like, hey, you know, you won't believe I got like 10 compliments today. And the dresses are unique, so they're not like everyone. You're gonna go to Macy's or TJ Maxx and see. So when I get them, I just get a few dresses, and that's it. So if you get the first dress, you got it, it's yours.
Yeah.
And you won't find it anywhere else.
Have you thought of actively designing as well and having them made?
You know, that's work.
Yeah, no, it is. It is.
That's work. It's easy for me just to go see
And know what you like.
Yeah,
and
know
then
what
just,
I like.
Yeah.
Have someone make the dresses and go get the dresses. Yeah, that's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
I don't think at this time and age, I'm not young anymore. I'm going to be out there designing clothes.
Yeah. I mean, you still could design and send
Yeah.
those designs in
Yeah.
or work and be like, I have an idea for a dress you've never
Yeah.
seen. You know, things like that. And everyone's different. So I would say, what are your goals? So, you know, you do a bunch of different things. You know, you're this amazing woman. You have done so much already, and you're actively still doing it. Where do you say that you want to be in the next 10 years?
You know, in the next 10 years, I still want to be doing what I'm doing. I just want to empower more younger women, embracing themselves, looking classy,
Yeah.
not being trashy.
I love the rhyme. Classy, never trashy. Okay.
Yeah, just empower women and just grow my little business. It's still not up there, way up there, you know. So I would like to grow my business. I would still love to travel, and I would like to do more self-love, empowerment retreats.
And so do you offer services for your retreats and where people, because I know self-love and mental healthcare and all this stuff is a very big thing that's a universal thing that everyone could take advantage of. They want to. Some people are more vocal about wanting that. Some people silently want that and need that. And so what type of services can you provide, or if anything, tell the audience if they are interested in that?
In self-love, it's just mentoring and just showing you love, sharing love. I have a lot of inspirational t-shirts that I give away, and it's just talking about love. So when we do the retreats, I do affirmations. I teach affirmations, and I teach you how to wake up every day and tell yourself 5 affirmations and stick to those affirmations for the day. So don't let anything change your mind to go away. Like, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll tell myself I'm beautiful, I'm going to have a good day, no one is going to steal my joy, this is going to be the best day of my life. And I stick to those things even though something negative comes by. I remind myself that I told myself this is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
So it's just sharing self-love moments.
And do you advertise retreats? You know, do you have a website, anything where people can come and see if and when that time will come that you have a new retreat coming that you...
I haven't done retreats here. You know, I've gone to retreats. I was going to do my first retreat, and I got so sick in October. So I guess when that time comes, I will advertise. For right now, I don't have a website, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, the final question, if you had overheard me ask the amazing magician that I ask every single guest that comes on here, is there a philosophy that you live by?
Be humble. Just be humble. You know what? Being kind and humble is free.
Yeah.
Don't put anyone down unless you're going to pick them up. And that's how I feel. Be kind, be humble, and be fabulous.
Oh, absolutely. And that is exactly the energy that you exude. You know, it's not, I know we laugh about it, but it's not particularly easy for a lot of people to be confident and humble and then also fabulous at the same time, you know, and it's got nothing to do, and I know I want you to be an example of people that feel like, well, if I'm this, that, and the third, then that means that I'm this. And it's a negative connotation that you can't be this strong, independent woman and dress the way you want to dress, draw attention to yourself, but also have that be a positive energy while also being humble at the same time.
That's true.
You know, I know a lot of people will automatically see it and think, oh, here she is. Like, she's a diva. Or she's superficial. You know, oh, no, she thinks she's better than everyone. But that's not the case, because this is for you, right? And I want people to understand that it doesn't have to be to get attention from anyone else. This is just you and how you want to walk out the door.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, and I've been lucky because everyone that knows me knows that I'm humble, I'm kind, And
This is just
I
what you
just-
like and
I
what
just
you
like
want to,
look
yeah.
Fabulous. That's
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. And then I agree. The reason why I say this is because I have that, that negative connotation when
Yeah.
I'm working, because I'm unique in my own way.
Yeah.
I love fashion and my own sense of style, and so I'll never
Yeah.
go somewhere not fully doing
Yeah.
something where people are like, what is she wearing, right? So,
Yeah.
but it always comes with like everyone feels, oh my God, I love your outfit, and they're just like, but they're, and it's just always like, why can't I just dress me for me?
Yeah.
And you're an example of like, I've been doing this forever, and it all comes from
It just all
self-love.
comes from the heart. I even
Yeah.
tell, like, if I was today and tell a date, I'm like, hey, you know what? Don't worry how I show up, because
Right,
you know
right.
what? I show up with my moods. If I'm in a mood of like dressing up like I'm going to a wedding or going to a
Right, and that's,
pageant or what, I'm showing up like that.
Yeah.
So don't worry about me, and don't try to do different because I'm doing this.
yes, we have to normalize this.
Yeah.
I love this. You can be the motto, normalizing walking out the door in a gown, please.
Yeah.
Amazing. So where can people find your boutique if you want to give them the link of where they can purchase from you, or even reach out to you if you have social media, things like that?
I have social media on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I have my business page is Sassy Boutique by MK.
Okay.
So you can find that on Facebook. I don't do much on Instagram. I'm more of a Facebook girl.
person.
So, and if you want to find me on my personal page, it's Martha Quesada
Yeah.
at Facebook.
Perfect. Well, I
Yeah.
hope you had a great experience. I know it's your
Yeah.
first time in the studio,
I
but
know.
you look amazing. You did
Thank
absolutely
you.
amazing, and I hope that you had a great experience here at the
Thank
Social
you.
Media Shows Network.
Good.
So thank you so much, everyone. Round of applause for Martha. Absolutely amazing. You did absolutely great. So thank you so much for your time
Oh,
and being
thank
here in the
you.
hot seat. So when we come back, we're going to take a little break, but I'm not done talking. But everyone, please write down these links to where you can reach out to these amazing people, and I hope that you've been inspired by her journey, because she's definitely someone that you would be a great inspiration for you. So see you when you come back.
Now on digital and DVD.
Hit it.
Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star is an epic sci-fi adventure.
Do what needs to be done.
An edge-of-your-seat wild ride.
We have company.
Tons of popcorn-munching fun. 5 stars. A love letter to the sci-fi films of the 70s and 80s. With plenty of action and fun for all. You need to see it. You really do.
The captain just decided it's time to go.
I am ready for a sequel. Experience a bold new adventure. Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star.
A good old-fashioned adventure.
Now on digital and DVD. Now on digital and DVD.
Hit it.
Space Wars: Quest for the Deep Star is an epic sci-fi adventure.
Do what needs to be done.
An edge-of-your-seat wild ride.
We have company.
Tons of popcorn-munching fun. 5 stars. A love letter to the sci-fi films of the 70s and 80s.
Hi guys, and welcome back. You are watching The Hot Seat with Priscilla here at the Social Media Show studio. This was just a great first comeback episode. It's filled with two amazingly humble people, two people who are completely honest and genuine about speaking about their journeys, where they want to end up, and also a reminder to all of you, because I know that you guys are used to seeing a lot of performers and a lot of people that love the spotlight. The spotlight's their life. They sing, they dance, they act, they want to be in movies, they write music, all of these things, but it's very different to hear people that are very, very comfortable and believe that they are where they're meant to be, doing exactly what they've always wanted to. Not everyone seeks fame, and I think it's important to have the people come here and explain why, and also talk about their stories, and know that sometimes fame and having the biggest spotlight isn't everybody's dream. And that's what I love about the show, is that you meet a lot of people who are very, very, very confident in their journey and who they are and where they want to be. And sometimes that's not where you assume they're going to be. So I'm so glad that there are two amazing interviews that you guys can always look back on if you ever feel low, or you ever feel like you're lost, or ever feel like you want to have an inspiring talk and you're not really sure about reaching out to some people, I think these two are amazing people, especially Martha. So I thank her and I congratulate her for sharing some of her struggles with us here in the studio and that expressing it to you guys. So just know that you guys always have a place and a way in order to find people that truly love you and care for you. And so I hope that all of you are staying healthy and, you know, are being comfortable right now watching this episode and feel just as inspired and feel the love that's coming out of this studio right now from our two guests. As always, I always tell you guys that there's always a theme of an episode. Every time we finish an episode based on the people that come in, whether it's they do the same thing, whether they've worked together or whatever it is, but these two, I think the energy is what really ties them together to make this episode seem whole and have them have some similarities. So I believe that that was just some great energy. I think all of us here are feeling very comforted and fulfilled, and I'm just glad to be back here talking to you guys in the studio. It's always an amazing time. So a little announcement before I head off and stop talking your head off is that we do stream every single day. So at Social Media Shows, there's more than just my show. I know my show's your favorite, like you don't have to tell me. But we stream every day, so make sure to go to the website socialmediashows.com and you will be able to see the list of the shows, be able to watch past episodes, and be able to kind of figure out what other options there are for you business-wise. So if you are looking for a red carpet host, this is something that we do here at Social Media Shows. Our whole team goes out there, we have the red carpet, you have a host, and we're able to air your premiere live in real time to everybody. So you're able to market your movie, if it's a movie, or a show, or whatever event that it is. You know, no judgment from our end. We would love to be there. We'd love to advertise that for you, and we love to interview. And if you request me, which I hope that you do as your fabulous host for your show, then I will be able to be there as well on site, meeting you guys, working with you guys. Another thing, if you really want to be interviewed or be on another show, or you have a TV show idea, I know Social Media Shows Network has options to get show ideas for the next big show or idea that you might have that no one's ever seen before. If you want to do any of those things, be on the hot seat, be on the other shows, inquire about business, or inquire about a new show, being a host, whatever it may be, you want to email admin@socialmediashows.com in order to get that rolling for you, and production will get to you as soon as possible. Please know that there will be a time delay because there's a ton of emails coming in all the time, along with this not being a really full house of people. This is a one-woman show, so she's doing everything all the time just to keep all of you entertained and all of us busy. So, you know, thanks to Maria. She is queen of Social Media Shows, and you cannot take that away from her. So just thank you guys so much. I feel great. I'm glad to be back here, and I'm glad that I want to admit it, a lot of you have, and I really hope that I will get a chance to meet you and tell your story here on the hot seat. So I will see you guys next Wednesday.